It has been a while since I've recorded anything, so I wanted to come back with a little short video. So I don't expect this video to be too long. I wanted to come back with a video about Jarret Stidham and why I think he's the future quarterback of the New England Patriots. And why I think Bill Belichick thinks the same way. Let's start this journey at the beginning of last offseason for the NFL. Tom Brady had done the unthinkable and left New England for a new team. His new team being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers isn't all important to the story with Jarret Stidham, but every good story needs a beginning. Now we have a reason the Patriots need to look at a new quarterback for the future. I made a video a while back about my thoughts on whether Tom Brady would leave the Patriots last offseason or not, so if you're interested in that. Up until a month or so, before the start of the NFL season, the New England Patriots had two quarterbacks on their roster. Those two being Brian Hoyer and Jarret Stidham. Almost everyone thought that Jarret Stidham was going to start the season as the New England Patriots quarterback, except for one person named Bill Belichick. Little did everyone know that Bill Belichick was working on a deal to sign Cam Newton, a veteran quarterback who missed most of the season prior due to an injury, to a one-year contract for a veteran minimum. When I first heard of this deal to get Cam Newton, I was a little skeptical because I didn't think the Patriots should have paid him a big contract. But once I heard that it was a league minimum, my stress was relieved a little bit. I have always seen Cam Newton as a quarterback that always has a good season, then a bad season. He is very inconsistent, not game to game, but season to season. Yes, he is a former MVP, but Carolina has not made the playoffs since that year, if I remember correctly. But I still thought Cam could be good enough to play on a league minimum contract. Somehow I was wrong about that. This season he had a 1-to-2 touchdown to interception ratio at 5 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And yes, he started every game for the Patriots, except for the one against the Chiefs where he had to miss due to COVID. He has trouble throwing the ball downfield, which has made them a one-dimensional offense and plagued them to their first losing season in almost 2 decades. Cam Newton has played nowhere close to an NFL quarterback this season and does not deserve a second chance. Some people have blamed this on the receivers that Cam Newton has had to throw to, which are not the best, I will admit, but the problem hasn't been receivers not getting open. It has been he can't even get the ball downfield to open receivers. For those of you who have seen my older video about Tom Brady leaving or are going to see it, you will know that I have high praise for Jarret Stidham. I felt like what he showed in last preseason showed a lot of potential for what he can be in the future. For what he has shown in the short amount of times he's played in games so far this season has been up and down. He's made some bad reads and has gotten intercepted. At times he seems to hold on to the ball too long. But I'm okay seeing this from a young quarterback. These things can be taught and learned through experience at the NFL level. What he has that can't be taught is arm talent. I think he throws a good deep ball and a good spiral, which when he learns how to read a defense, he will become a franchise caliber quarterback. But one of the problems that he's had to deal with this year is Bill Belichick. In multiple interviews, Belichick has said that Cam Newton's his quarterback and he gives the Patriots the best chance to win. And I feel he says this for two reasons. One, I think he is very stubborn when it comes to his quarterback choices. For people that don't remember, Belichick almost retired because Robert Kraft would not let him get rid of Brady so he could start Jimmy Garoppolo. When Belichick chooses a quarterback, he chooses him for the whole season. He will rarely sub out his starting quarterback for the backup quarterback. And looking back on it now, it looks like Belichick felt like he was imprisoned by Kraft, who wanted Brady to be the quarterback when it wasn't his choice. For the last 2 or 3 years, Brady was in New England. And it felt like with Cam Newton, he did not want to change quarterbacks. It was his choice and he was sticking to it. And this led to the second reason I think he didn't want to switch quarterbacks. The Patriots created the offensive game plan around Cam Newton. They made a run-heavy offense with very few passing plays. Now, Jarret Stidham is not as fast and athletic as Cam Newton is. So putting him in to run option plays and quarterback designed runs would not put the Patriots in a position to win a game. Now, if we look back at the quarterback talent that Belichick has drafted with the Patriots, wherever he has drafted a quarterback, besides one exception, they have all been at least average NFL quarterbacks. Of course, we have Brady. Then you have Brian Hoyer. Most people know him as a career backup for Brady. But they forget that he went to teams like the Cleveland Browns and had pretty good seasons on bad teams. Another quarterback that he drafted was Matt Castle, who was able to lead the Patriots to a 10-6 record without Brady, then went on to have a respectable career in Kansas City. After that was Ryan Mallett, the one exception. After the Patriots, he signed with the Houston Texans and was a huge disappointment. Next, we have Jimmy Garoppolo, who is a starter for San Francisco. A pretty good starter. And last but not least, we have Jacoby Brissett. People probably forget this, but Jacoby Brissett was a pretty good starter last year for the Colts. And now that they signed Philip Rivers, Brissett is probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now. This is what has kind of confused me listening to sports media recently, is Bill Belichick does not miss on quarterback talent. That he drafts, of course. So I don't know why people are not giving Jarret Stidham more of a chance. Now, I'm recording this early Sunday morning of Week 17, where Jarret Stidham is projected to start against the New York Jets. And I think if they cater a game plan to his skills, he can have a great game. As for Cam Newton, he says he can still play, but if I'm the Patriots, unless he wants to switch to running back, I am not re-signing him as a quarterback. He did not show anything that deserves a contract extension. These are my thoughts on the topic. I'd love to see how everyone else feels about this.